He's back. We should stay friends, she whispered with a smile. I sat frozen, remembering 2 years of night calls, doctor visits, and every tear I dried. Then I paid the check, smiled politely. She hugged me goodbye, without realizing her ex would break me in a single sentence. My name's Alex, I'm 29, and I'm sitting in my car outside that restaurant right now, typing this because if I don't spill every thought out of my head, I'm gonna explode. 2 years. 2 years of being her constant, her safe place, her crisis hotline, her late-night emergency contact, her driver when her anxiety meds made her too foggy to get behind the wheel, her unofficial therapist when she spiraled, her stability when her whole world felt like it was falling apart. And tonight she told me, smiling like she was delivering good news, that the man who shattered her heart is back, and she thinks they should try again, but she hopes I'll stay her friend because she values me so much. Jesus, I don't even know where to start. Maybe from the beginning. 2 years ago, I met her, Emily, at a barbecue. She was standing alone by the fence, crying silently into a napkin, trying to hide it. People kept glancing, but nobody approached her except me. She told me her boyfriend of 3 years, Tyler, had dumped her 2 days earlier because he wasn't ready for a future and wanted to enjoy life before settling down. She looked hollow, scared, like someone who'd lost her compass. I didn't try anything. I swear I didn't. She was clearly hurting, and I'm not the guy who swoops in when someone's broken. But we talked. She laughed once, a small, tired laugh, and something inside me clicked. Over the next few months, we became close. Not dating, not flirting, just close. But somewhere along the way, I fell in love with her. Hard, like genuinely, deeply, stupidly in love. I didn't tell her. I told myself she needed time. She needed healing. And every time she cried, every time she called me at 1 a.m. saying, "Alex, are you awake?" Every time she broke down because she ran into a memory of Tyler, I told myself, be patient. She'll eventually see you for who you are. People warned me. My friend said, "Dude, she's using you whether she realizes it or not." And I get defensive like an idiot because it didn't feel like being used. It felt like being needed. She learned quickly that I'd always answer, always show up, always care. Looking back, that was a problem. She never had to give anything back. I made it too easy. It wasn't malicious, just human, and I ignored every sign. The night she had a panic attack, so bad she collapsed in the parking lot. I carried her to urgent care, stayed with her, held her hand through every tremor, every breath. She thanked me through tears. I thought maybe that meant something. The day her mom went in for surgery, she called me before her own father. I sat in the waiting room with her for 9 hours. She fell asleep on my shoulder. She whispered, "I don't know what I'd do without you." I thought maybe that meant something. The dozen times she told me I was the only person who ever made her feel safe, I thought maybe that meant something too. God, I was so painfully naive. 3 weeks ago, she started acting lighter, happier, more confident, like a version of herself she'd lost a long time ago. She texted me first more often, asked to hang out, suggested hikes and movie nights, asked if I wanted to check out this new brunch spot with her. I thought it was progress. I thought maybe she was finally ready. Tonight, when she asked me to dinner, I thought she was going to tell me she wanted to try something more with us. I even rehearsed it. I literally practiced in the mirror like an idiot. "Em, I love you. Not because you're hurting, but because of who you are when you're happy." That was the line. I practiced the timing, the tone. God helped me. We ordered food, talked, laughed, and then dessert came and I took a breath and she cut me off with, "Alex, I have something to tell you too." She smiled, nervous, excited. My heart lifted until she said the words that smashed it. "Tyler reached out. He says he's changed. We're thinking of trying again." The rest of the restaurant noise disappeared. Everything blurred out except her voice. She kept talking about his apology, about his therapy, about how he finally realized what he lost. I sat there numb. The entire history of the last 2 years replaying in fast forward like a cruel montage of moments I'd misinterpreted. Then she added the final twist of the knife. I hope we can stay friends. You mean so much to me. Friends. I spent 2 years pouring love into her only for her to see me as the world's most emotionally supportive houseplant. She didn't even realize she'd crushed me. She genuinely thought I'd be happy for her. I forced a smile, paid the check, drove her home. She hugged me tight, kissed my cheek, told me she'd call tomorrow with an update on how things go with Tyler. And I said, of course. Then I watched her go inside, and something inside me broke, so quietly I'm not sure she would have noticed, even if she'd been watching. But here's the thing. I didn't answer her call the next day, or the day after, or the dozen texts. I told her, finally, that I needed space. She didn't understand why. She called crying, apologizing, confused. She said she didn't want to lose me. I realized she wasn't afraid of losing me. She was afraid of losing what I did for her. And that was the beginning of me pulling away, and the unraveling of everything she assumed would always be there for her. She didn't handle distance well, not even a little. At first she played it off, sending memes, little check-in texts, miss your face messages she used to send casually, the ones that made me think she was starting to care. Now I saw them differently. They weren't affection. They were maintenance, keeping me warm, keeping me in orbit, keeping me present in case the world fell apart again. But I responded briefly, politely, just enough to be civil. The absence of emotional labor from my end exposed the truth instantly. Our friendship had been built entirely on me filling her emptiness. Without that, our connection evaporated like fog in sunlight. And while she was confusing, I was growing. I started hiking again, took a photography class, went out with coworkers, even went on dates, actual dates, with people who asked about me, who cared about my stories, who didn't need to collapse on me to feel close. It felt foreign, but good, healthy, like I'd been living underwater and finally surfaced. Then, because life is cruelly poetic, the night I felt truly okay, she showed up at my door, eyes red, hands shaking. Alex, we need to talk. She walked in like she'd done 1,000 times. Except this time, she noticed the energy was different. No tea ready on the counter. No warm smile. No immediate concern. Just me, quiet, steady, present, but not hers anymore. Why are you pulling away? She asked. Did I do something wrong? I took a long breath. Then I told her the truth, the whole truth, about how I'd loved her for 2 years, about how I'd been waiting for her to heal enough to see me, about how I'd sacrificed my mental health to support her, about how hearing her talk about Tyler made something inside me shatter, about how I realized she never once asked how I was, about how I felt like her emotional life raft, not her friend. She cried, hard, not the panic cries she had during her crisis months. These were different. These were realization tears. The tears people cry when they finally see the damage their behavior did. I didn't know, she whispered. I didn't realize. I know, I said. That's the problem. She apologized, over and over. But apologies don't undo patterns. They only acknowledge them. And patterns don't break just because someone feels regret. She asked if we could fix things, start fresh, build a better friendship. I told her gently that I didn't think that was possible. Why not? She said through tears. Because our entire foundation is built on me sacrificing myself. I said, and now that I've stopped doing that, there's nothing left for either of us to stand on. She left devastated. But part of me felt, finally, free. I thought that was the end. But endings rarely come clean. A few months later, I learned things with Tyler had started strong, then crumbled. Same patterns, same wounds, same cycle. Without me as her emotional buffer, she felt every blow full force. When she finally texted me again months later, long message, full of reflection and regret, I was already someone else, someone stronger, someone with boundaries, someone with a new girlfriend. Her name is Hannah. She's a vet tech, funny, kind, independent. The first woman I've ever dated who doesn't need me to fix her life. She just wants me in it. That's a very different kind of intimacy. When she learned about Emily, Her only question was, "Are you sure you're healed?" And for the first time, the answer was yes. Truly yes. But curiosity tugged at me when Emily texted again recently, so I agreed to coffee. She looked better, healthier, more grounded. Therapy helped her. She told me she finally understood how much she'd taken from me, how deeply she relied on me, without ever seeing the person behind the support. She apologized sincerely. And then she said the line I've been expecting like a storm cloud on the horizon. "Do you think we could ever try again? Not just friends, but something more." I didn't feel anger, or excitement, or sadness. Just clarity. "No," I said. She looked stunned. "Why?" "Because I'm not the same man you knew," I said. "And you're not the woman I loved. And the version of us you're imagining never really existed. I loved you because you needed me. And you loved the idea of someone who never left. Neither of those are love." She nodded slowly, hurt but understanding. Then she asked a question I wasn't expecting. "Do you love someone else now?" "Yes," I said. "And she loves me back." Truly, fully, without needing me to collapse for her to feel close. Emily swallowed hard. "Do you think you'll marry her?" I smiled. "I hope so." And that was it. That was the moment something in her deflated. Quietly, respectfully. She realized she was too late. That the emotional well she relied on for so long wasn't hers anymore. Leaving that cafe, I didn't feel triumphant or vindicated, just at peace. Because closure isn't winning. It's letting go. Fully, completely, without wishing for what could have been. When I walked through the door that night, Hannah was cooking dinner. She turned, smiled, asked, "How did it go?" "It went how it needed to," I said, wrapping my arms around her. She kissed me softly and whispered, "I'm glad you chose yourself." And I realized, finally, that I had. All this time, all this pain, all this growth. It wasn't about losing Emily. It was about finding me, the version of me who understands that love isn't earned through sacrifice. It's shared through balance, through choosing each other equally, through showing up because you want to, not because someone can't survive without you. For 2 years, I loved someone who was drowning. For the first time, I'm with someone who swims beside me. And that, after everything, is the ending I didn't know I deserved.